Welcome to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am Danielle. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to help both men and women find a person that's best for them. So, today we're going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about one, if you're a woman, how to get a man to read your mind. There is an answer to that. So I am going to go into detail with that. And then I'm going to tell you 7 top commonly asked questions or concerns when getting a dating coach. So these are things that I hear people ask me all the time, and or they have these concerns, and I'm going to go right into it. So stay tuned. Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the when to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter. If you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making, now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't All right, so how to get a man to read your mind? I have the answer, and it is so simple. I get my husband to read my mind all the time, and I have no issues with it at all because I know sometimes a lot of women are saying, well, gosh, I wish you would just do this and do that. And a lot of times it's like they just don't get it. You want them to know what you're thinking and know what you're going to say and how you feel. And we're like, why can't we get men to do that? And of course, because we understand that men and women process things differently, they view things differently, they're not going to automatically know what we're thinking. But the solution to get a man to read your mind is to tell him what you're thinking. Yes. So a lot of times we like men to just know. Oh, you should just know. You should be able to know the right answer, what to say in this type of situation. And sometimes they don't. And so instead of getting upset with that, the perfect solution is to tell him what you're thinking. No playing games, no having him read between the lines. I've been married for 13 years, and I'm telling you, the best way to do this, to avoid this argument of who should have known and what they should have thought, is to actually tell him how you're feeling and what you're thinking. And if you're saying, well, he just won't get it, well, then it begs the question, why are you with a person that you cannot properly communicate with, especially in a healthy way? Um, I've learned over years how to not have these arguments, right? How not to have arguments with my husband. Heated discussions, yeah, sometimes you're going to have those. But the best way to have these types of conversations in a healthy way is to tell him what you're thinking instead of dragging along upset that he didn't do this or he didn't do that. And you're wondering, well, he should know that I'm upset by my attitude. He should know that I'm not talking to him. In many cases, as you grow to know each other, the other person would begin to tell when you're upset and when you're happy and when you're frustrated, like my husband does. But the best way is to not assume that someone should know, even though it's obvious. To get a man to read your mind is to tell him what's on your mind. Communication is essential if you want a relationship to progress. And a lot of women want men to read between the lines. All right, so that is that. And then now we're going to go into the top 7 commonly asked questions and concerns when getting a dating coach. So again, I'm a dating coach. I'm a relationship and femininity coach. And I do get a lot of people, both men and women, come to me. And these are the top things that they ask or that they say. And so I'm going to go into detail. So let's start with number 1. Is there such thing as right guy, wrong time? And I'm going to say yes. And if you're watching and I coach you, this is no way me saying anything, because some of these situations, a lot of people have the same or similar situations. So no way think that this is about you. So I'm just having that disclaimer out there. But I do have people, whether they come to me for coaching or there's just people just talking to me that just know me and say, well, I know this guy's for me. I know this person was sent to me. This person is for me. And it very well may be so. But even if this is the right person, this is the person that you're destined to be with, sometimes people are not operating in the person they need to be. They're not operating in their best selves. Now, I understand no one's perfect. I'm not saying people are perfect, but what I am saying is when people don't have it together, when they're emotionally and physically and mentally or financially not together, sometimes that can mess up the relationship. And sometimes people need to get themselves together. They need to heal. They need to go through whatever process they need to go through in order to get through the healing process. And if you are going through a lot of trauma, even if that person's for you, the relationship's not going to be the best. It's like saying, I am destined to drive. I know I'm going to drive. But if you're 10, this is not the time to have your driver license. It's not. You're not tall enough to reach the pedal. You are not you don't have the mindset to appreciate driving such a machine that can cause so much damage. So you need to be able to have that level of appreciation and understanding when you're on the road, to have that courtesy to others, to understand the gravity of the situation if you're not careful. So a lot of times we think, oh, well, I know I'm going to drive. Yes. But that's why there's an age limit to it. And that's why the same thing in relationships, there's a time limit to it. There's a time to be in a relationship and there's a time to get yourself together. There's a time to heal. And then there's a time to be in a relationship that's best for you. And just because it's the right person doesn't mean it's the right time. So my goal, and what I always like to say, is get yourself together first. All right. The next thing I would like to say is there can be a right time, like a right time to be in a relationship with the wrong person. And that's obvious. Like you could have yourself together, but you're just not properly vetting to be in a relationship that's best for you. You're healed. You've done all this, but you're not seeing the signs or the red flags that this person is exhibiting. And you can't get in that relationship. And that could mess up the relationship. Even if they're healed, you're healed. You're not on the same page. You don't have the same standards. So, and that's the most obvious reason that a lot of people say. All right, so let's get to number 2. Number 2 is, when should I let a marriage go? I talk often about dating, but I do help people who are married. And a lot of times people are in a relationship, in a marriage that it is time to go. And it's time to go because even though both parties are physically still married, mentally one person has left the relationship. Maybe physically, maybe there's times where people actually have left and the other person does not want to get a divorce, right? And then there's times where the person is still there, but mentally they have left the relationship. They no longer want to have anything to do with you. They are going out on dates with someone else. Maybe they're cheating on you. Maybe they've gotten to the point where they blatantly disrespect you. They have no respect for you whatsoever. There's no trust. There's full on like roommates in this type of relationship. And I would say it's best to let a relationship go when there's 3 things, one of these 3 things, and especially if there's a combination of the 3. The first thing is if respect is all gone, right? Someone can tarnish, you can lose respect for that period of time for a person. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe you did that. I lost a little respect for you. And hopefully you don't get to that point. But sometimes people may do things that's appalling to you, even though you're married to them, because, there's times where I'm still learning about my husband and he's still learning about me. We're growing as people. We evolve. How we think about things change. So there are going to be things that you don't know about the other person that they either have done or what they're thinking about doing. We're humans. We're capable of doing some crazy things that we would have never thought of, right? And of course, if you get someone at the right time, the right situation, they will show you a side of them that you've never seen before. All right. So if the relationship has gone mentally, I would sit down and have a conversation. Hey, is this relationship going anywhere? Is there a chance for us? And if not, then that's another reason, a good idea to say, okay, maybe we should let this relationship go. But usually when respect is gone, you have 0 respect for this person. I mean, there's no ounce of respect. Like they discuss you. Right? Or you discuss them. That relationship might need to come to an end. The other thing would be if the relationship has no trust, 0 trust. Not like, the trust is chipping away. I'm not saying that, but there's 0 trust. Like you have no trust in anything that comes out their mouth, even if they say they have changed, they're a changed woman, they're a changed man, they're a changed person. They have gotten themselves together for God. If you can sit up in their face and say, good, go and be good for Jesus, go do whatever, but I have no respect for you, period. Anything that comes out your mouth, in one ear, out the other. If that's how you feel about it, and I'm not saying in your anger, take anger out. Get to the point where you're not just as angry. Would you say, if there's anything in the world, anything possible, could you see there could be a turnaround in a relationship? If there's no trust, no, the relationship is most likely gone. Respect and trust is the biggest thing. The other thing is resentment. And this is usually for women because it's usually women that have the resentment, but not to say that men don't have it. Because if you've torn down a man's confidence, if you have belittled him, if you have even if there's betrayal, whether there's adultery in the situation, sometimes when there's a resentment there, that person is always going to hang over the other person's head. They're going to keep using that against you. And that's the biggest sign that there is resentment. They keep using your past against you. And you can never do or be better. That's a huge sign of resentment. Or unless they just tell you they resent you. So those are the times to let a marriage go. I'm not for breaking up a marriage. I'm all for fighting to make it work. But it takes two. Right? Two people have to want to be in the ring to want to make it work, right? If you're doing this all by yourself, it's not going to work. So if you realize you're the only one trying to make it work, that's another sign that the relationship should come to an end. I'm all for crossroads, whether it's in marriage or it's in dating. And I always say, love yourself enough to know when something toxic should go away. I love my husband. I love him so much. But if at any point it got to this point of a crossroad, and this crossroad is detrimental to our relationship, if it's material to the relationship being a success, then that's a decision I'm going to have to make. And likewise for my husband, right? He respects himself enough to not allow me to cross a certain boundaries where it diminishes how he feels about me. And in it, that it be the respect, the trust, the resentment, and all those things, right? So the next thing is the number 3 is, can I shoot my shot as a woman, or is that being too forward? I think I use the term shoot your shot because a lot of times people say it, but essentially I'm saying, go and give it a chance. I don't say being forward because there's a difference between being forward and giving a little push. Some men are not sure, especially in this climate today. We're not sure how, both men and women, we're not sure, what signs and signals are a yes or I'm interested. So we have to make it more known. And men are good at making it known how they feel about you. Even if he doesn't know you, hey, can I have your number? Hey, I like you. Hey, you look beautiful, right? But sometimes men are unclear, and men are, especially in this era, we don't have men approach women anymore as much as they did in the past. Men are now doing social media, or they reach out to you on an online presence, right? Dating apps and things like that. So the best way to show that you're interested is you may be the first to do a little push. And that's what I mean about shooting your shot or being forward. So if you see a guy that's kind of interested, or you're wondering if he's interested in you, basically you make the first move by first saying something nice or making a compliment. Or if he seems like he's trying to say something nice, if you like him back, accept the compliment and then push it in a more forward direction, like move it along basically. So you are moving the process along a little bit faster. So if he's showing he's interested in you, then you show that you're interested back. No cat and mouse game, no Laura Urkel type thing, none of that. Actually show that you're interested. Speak your mind, say how you really feel. And I'm not saying just regurgitate everything that's on your mind, but let this person know that you are somewhat interested. It's just like a job. If someone was like, yeah, I'm looking to hire someone, you may not want to wait until they say, are you interested? You may say, that sounds like a great job. I think I might be interested, or tell me more about the job. You see how I initiated the conversation so they can push it towards in that direction. Or if they started to say, I'm looking for someone. And then you may be able to say, oh, well, tell me more about the job. Even if you didn't immediately say, I'm interested. So basically, you're giving a little push to show that you are somewhat interested in what they're offering. And men are showing that they're interested in you either by asking your number, either trying to have a conversation with you. They're not outwardly saying I'm interested in you, but they're sparking up a conversation. Allow that conversation to continue and ask, hey, we can parlay this conversation into, out to eat or to drink. And that will be what most people call being forward or shooting your shot, I guess, but you're just giving a little push. All right. So the fourth thing that people often ask is, how long is too long when dating if marriage is your goal? And I'm all for getting to know people and having time with someone, but I am big on saying the saying that a man knows what he wants. I think that sometimes women are not good at vetting, so a little bit longer may be best. And when I say longer, it depends on your age too and your maturity level. A person who's younger, in their 20s, they may want to spend a little bit more time with the person, maybe 2 years, right? Maybe 3 years if you're in your early 20s. Now, I believe that most men know how they feel about a woman within 6 months. Most relationships, if they are progressing like they should within a year, it should move forward towards, now let's talk about marriage. However, there's a caveat to this. You can't spend once a week with a person and then know that this person is best for you if you're not talking throughout those weeks. You have to actually have full conversation with the person, maybe daily conversations, not texting, right? Not something informal, but real conversations, video chat, calls. Let it be an hour long. Let it be where you're having engaging in real conversation about your standards, about your goals, about your preferences, about how you view life, how you view family, how you view marriage, if you believe in marriage. Just things about your faith, morals. You want to understand how this person is going to be aligned to how you view things. And you're not going to agree on everything, but the fundamental things, how you view life and relationships and your basic standards should be aligned. It's just like finding friends. There's no way someone can become your best friend if you don't spend enough time with them. You can't see them only on Wednesdays, only on Tuesdays, only on every other day and think you're going to become best friends. Usually people become best friends just because they spent lots of quality time getting to know this person in great detail about them, about their life, about their interests, about their wants. So you're having conversation beyond the surface. All right. And so if that's something you're interested in, you make it known in the beginning that I am looking for something serious. And then if you're both looking for that, you're going to actually progress for that. It's just like a job. If you're looking for a management job, you're not showing up to work haphazardly. You're putting in the time and the work to show that this is the title that you want. You're actually walking as if you are a leader. You're walking about it. You're doing the work as if you're a leader because that's the goal of what you're trying to get. All right. Same thing for relationships. All right. The next question that people ask is number 5. Is it possible as a mother that I can raise my son to become a man? And I'm going to say no. As a woman who has 2 boys, I do think that, yes, you can raise him to be a good person, but to raise him to be a man, he's going to need his father or a father-like figure. And that's why I truly believe that it's important to protect your womb. You should protect who is helping you make this baby, because you want to make sure that the father is there. You don't want to just be promiscuous or be with someone and that you don't think is going to take care of you, take care of the child, has a child's best interest at heart, gonna be doing things that are appropriate for them to be a good citizen so they can be around for their child. You want to make sure that the person in their life is the person that's helping you create this life is going to be in their life. For any unforeseen reasons they're not in the life, you want to make sure that they are around men who are carrying on that role model of what a father figure would be. It could be an aunt, a uncle, it could be a grandfather, it could be just another male. You don't want to have a whole bunch of males coming in their life because you're dating them. You want to keep someone who is consistent, who is solid, and who's a good role model. Ideally, it would be the father. And that's why I say protecting your womb is important. All right. So and then of course I have lots of videos on vetting and how to find the guy that's for you. So let's move on to number 6. Number 6 is a question that I get often. Why do you fight so hard for marriage? Marriage is a lost cause. No, marriage isn't a lost cause. It's people. Just like I gave the example one other time about a car. Cars are designed to get you from point A to point B. Cars are very useful. They're a great tool to get you where you have to go, a great vehicle. However, if you misuse it, if you are under the influence, if you are being reckless, if you are not showing courtesy, if you're not following the guidelines, it's a dangerous tool, a dangerous vehicle, and it can be harmful to people. The people outside surrounding the vehicle and the people inside the vehicle. So essentially, marriage is the same way. Marriage is something that's beautiful. But it's people who are not mindful. They're not putting in the work. They're not putting in the time. They don't have, because they think it's just love. You can't just say, I love you, and then just say your vows. You have to actually live out your vows. Saying your vows is not enough. Living your vows is highly important. If you say for better or worse, then better or for worse, it is. But you want to make sure that prior to you even saying for better or for worse, you make sure it's the person that's worth being there for the better or for worse. Because if worse is something that is horrific, then that's not a marriage you want to be in. That's why I said you want to look for people who have the standards that you're looking for. Because when worse comes, they have the maturity level. They have the same standards. They have the same views on relationship, on how healthy relationships should work, that they want to put in that. A person who truly loves you is going to put in the time. They're going to put in the effort. They're going to want to make sure that their words and their actions are consistent. They want to make sure that they're having healthy communication with you. They want to make sure that you're not unhappy. They want to make sure that you are secure emotionally, financially, mentally, spiritually. They want that for you. And people who put in that time, put in that effort to make it work, marriage is blissful. Not to say that there's never any problems, but it's blissful. It's just like friends. Two friends who want to make it work are going to have a beautiful friendship, rather than one person doing all the work, all the effort, and the other person just only accepting and receiving and just sucking you dry. So it's really people, not marriage. That's the problem. It's people, right? That can be a lost cause because they don't want to do anything. It's their pride getting in the way. It's their anger. It's their selfishness getting in the way. It's their hate getting in the way. It's their trauma getting in the way from a successful marriage. And I'm telling you, as someone who's been married for 13 years, yes, I have more years to go, but it can work if you make it work. All right. And number 7, the last thing that I hear people say, is not even a question, but it is a comment. It says, or I guess it is, why do I try to get women to submit to men? I don't try to get women to submit to any man. I try to get women to submit to the man that they say that they want, right? The man that they said that is the provider and the protector and the leader and the person who everything he says and does is within love. He elevates that woman. He's respectful to that woman. He serves his purpose not only in his community, but in his family. He's dedicated to the people who he says he loves. This is a man who does not accept mediocrity, but he wants to be the best husband, the best boyfriend, whichever one he is, the best father. This is a man who is, striving for greatness. He's aspiring for greatness. This is a man that you said you fell in love with. This is a man you're sleeping with, having children with, that you're building a home with. Why would you not respect that man? If you don't respect him, it begs the question, why are you even with this man? All right. So again, I don't get people to submit to anyone. The goal is to submit to someone who is the leader. This man leads. And I have a whole video on leads. I even have a YouTube shorts on lead. So again, he loves, elevate, aspires for greatness, dedicated to the things and people who he says he loves, and S, serves his community with his gifts. This is a man who believes in marriage, who he believes in protecting his seed, his legacy, and who he creates his legacy with. So you should submit to this man. Any man short of that, you don't submit to him. All right. So this is all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. See you guys on Thursday. Take care. We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should. My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today.